stream a little bit. And today I found out that my snowball actually had shit the bed, so I had to like make an emergency buy online with Best Buy and get a replacement one like ASAP.
Wow.
It was a nutty affair trying to get that all done while trying to get my brother back to Situate and whatnot. But hey,
Right.
it's all taken care of. And let's see. And we are live. Let's see. You mind doing a check-in and seeing how it sounds on that end?
Okay. On.
Let's see. All right. So we've got our music lined up. I believe. Wait, no, that's in the wrong tab. Wait, oh yeah. All right. So
Let's.
dashboard right there. All right. Everything seems in order, I think.
Yeah, it seems to sound fine.
All right. Awesome. And let me just kick this off with a little bit of Hello Tortoise. And greetings, everybody. Welcome to the 5th episode of Not Moo, a local music podcast. Hello, here with me is Cameron Francisco, our lovely co-host, and you have me, Ian. And we're just gonna kick things off by talking about the shit we've been listening to this week. So, last few weeks. So, Cam, tell me a little bit about what you've been listening to, like some big stuff, if you'd like to talk about it.
One thing that I listened to was and one that I've been looking at for a while, since one thing that I seem to be very interested in is instrumental hip hop, and when it comes to instrumental hip hop, there you have to have Jay Dilla.
Yeah, of course.
That's like a necessity. So I decided to listen to Donuts, and the way that album like flows together is amazing. Like it doesn't even sound like you're listening to like songs.
Really?
Like yeah, it's just like you can tell that it'll be a different beat, but like it flows together so well that like Jay Dilla Donuts it's like you might as well be listening to like a nearly half-hour song, and that's the album.
That's honestly pretty awesome. I've had Donuts sitting in my library for me to listen to for like the longest fucking time, but I just like never got around to it. But now I really gotta fix that.
I mean, at least with see, I was listening to it on YouTube. There's like a whole video for the full album. I don't know if it was whoever made that video, like they made it so it flowed so well, but but it sounded as if it flowed really well anyway. Another artist that I discovered kind of in that instrumental hip hop area, they're known as XXYYXX.
XXYYXX. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them.
Imagine hip hop ambient.
Hip hop ambient.
Yeah, it's pretty much like if you gave Brian Eno an like 808s. It was.
That sounds pretty awesome. Like XXYYXX. I'll have to like look at that because that actually sounds pretty great. Was it available on Apple Music or was it like a Bandcamp thing?
It is on Bandcamp. That's where I was listening to it, so I'm not sure if it's on Apple Music, but I can look that up right now.
All right, sweet. But yeah, I've been a little bit on a hip hop kick myself. This last week I've been listening to Trial of the Golden Witch, or as I sent to you, Digibro, the hip hop artist / anime YouTuber. And man, does he have some music that's pretty relatable to people who aren't really in the headspace of hip hop. And well, it's an interesting approach, honestly. Like, he raps about just his life as kind of where he thinks he's like kind of a loser that doesn't do much with his life because he's so engrossed in his work. And it gives like a feeling of like validation to some of the things I deal with in life, and it makes me feel like I'm not kind of alone in the feelings of failure, feelings of wanting to succeed and whatnot. And plus the beats are pretty damn good, and he raps pretty well for like a white kid from the suburbs who's like
Wow.
26 now, I think. Yeah.
Wow, I could never imagine that a white kid from the suburbs could ever rap ever.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
That is the most abstract concept to me. Like,
I mean, it's not just like the fact that he's a white kid from the suburbs. It's like he's emulating styles of like Kendrick Lamar pretty well. He's like doing all of these. They're not perfect, but they're pretty interesting beats. It reminds me a lot of your work, and
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I know.
I'm literally a white kid from the suburbs who raps. It's not an abstract concept to me at all.
Yeah. But did you end up listening to that one track from Digibro that I sent you earlier this week?
No, because like the last week, like I'm not gonna go into anything because we're like live in public, but
you were busy?
Well, not so much busy, and more I felt incapable to be.
I understand.
That's the end of the sentence. I felt incapable to be for like an entire week, but now I'm good.
I gotcha, man.
And
let's see. But
and just so you know, the XXYYXX album, the self-titled album, is on Apple Music.
All right, sweet. So I'll have to pick that up when I can. But so with that Digibro track that I linked to you earlier this week, it was a very grimy, gross sounding song, and it was incredible, honestly. Like, holy crap, what am I listening to? Where is this coming from? The song just had a really neat kind of, I don't even know how to describe it perfectly, but it reminded me a lot of like the grosser parts of Multimedia and like parts of No Love Deep Web, which actually is really funny because that's like Death Grips is a big influence of Digibro's work and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently he has an album called Dead and Gay coming up pretty soon on his Bandcamp. So if anyone's ever interested in hip-hop from a guy that writes anime reviews on YouTube, I mean, you just gotta look for it right there. Trial of the Golden Witch, Bandcamp.com. But that's my shilling for another person corner out of the way. Cameron, have you listened to anything interesting else? Like, say, a certain Lamar Kendrick that released his album right before Easter?
Damn!
Yeah, damn. How about that Nation that never happened? Did you see everyone like talking about how Nation's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, the whole
Yeah.
Apparently there were like a bunch of conspiracy theories on that album.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to kind of see a fan project come around with that, like with the Death of Pablo fans track that came about.
Yeah, I can imagine they would do that, but
I think he said that that there's supposed to be more material coming really soon, so maybe he's gonna kind of fulfill on that idea in his own different way, though.
You know, it is possible that he like I'm sure that like if he's saying that, then it's possible that Nation will be a thing, because the whole Nation image with like one of the theories I heard is that like the way that the Damn cover is, like where his head is like right below the M, so it's and like it's all red and everything, and then on the picture with the Nation cover, his head is right below the O.
All right.
So like devil horns and then the halo. So it's possible that he's doing something like that, but he might just not. I can imagine he might not have thought of, or maybe he just wasn't ready to release Nation on Easter. So maybe he is going with that concept. He just didn't like. He just either like didn't think of bringing the concept so far as to do the whole releasing Damn when he did 3 days later releasing Nation on Easter, or maybe he just wasn't quite prepared to do that yet and is taking more time to make Nation and put that out there. But
yeah. But so what did you think about Damn as a whole?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I could say about Damn that a lot of people haven't already said, because I mean we are talking about Kendrick Lamar here. Like just about everyone who talks about music ever, like dove right into it as soon as it touched shelves.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, if you just had to like give like a quick opinion about it, what would you say?
I do enjoy it. It's conceptual in a way that Kendrick hasn't really been conceptual before. So which is interesting. It's he's not straying too far from what he's done before and what people kind of expect from him, but he is doing it in a different way. So he still seems to be evolving. But right. not too far. He's not going like way out of left field. He's not like trying to alienate anyone in particular, really. But he's still going somewhere.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty neat. I've only gotten through like half of Damn before cutting through to other random stuff, but I mean, honestly, it's a really solid sounding album from like what I've been listening to, and I hope I can get it done finally at some point. Just gotta cut down on the musical ADD. But I like to bring up that I listened to a very interesting album just recently. So I didn't find this out until like maybe a few days after it dropped, but this Icelandic post-rock dream pop band Low Roar released a new album maybe the week after Easter. I think it was like the week after or like a few days before. I can't remember which. But it has gotten so little attention, and like really the only people that really know its existence are people who have devoutly been following Low Roar or people who saw Hideo Kojima tweet about it. And it's such a shame because the guy Ryan who runs the entire project, like, it sounds like he's putting his heart and soul into making the most beautiful and kind of unconventional sounding, well, not really even unconventional, but it's actually a fair amount of unconventional. It's got the post-rock sound that you kind of hear out of some of Radiohead off of Kid A and OK Computer, but it's got the nice soothing dream poppy sound that you'd hear out of like the calmer bits out of M83's tracks like from Saturdays Equal Youth and Hurry Up We're Dreaming. It's a very solid sounding, relaxing album that more people really, really need to listen to, because Low Roar is, they're like, this album right now, what I've listened to, it's basically like almost best of the year material for me. Like if there's no other albums that I think top this is going to be the best of the year for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean like just tracks like Don't Be Serious and Give Me an Answer, Gozia, they just, holy crap. Like this guy is like a very independent artist. Like he didn't have a major label attached to it. He basically did like almost a crowdfunding. Yeah, he crowdfunded the entire thing for once in a long, long while. And I think he ended up doing his debut album Low Roar on a laptop after moving to Iceland, and just imagining like this guy putting so much work into making such a sound with like very little like resources. It's so impressive to see it.
Yeah.
And it's just for something that sounds so professional, it's like, how did he not have like a studio to do this? And how did he have the money to like get his records all over the world? Like, 'cause Kojima discovered him through their record Zero, which came out 2014, and it's hard to imagine that somehow by chance Hideo Kojima could like find that in like just any old record store. Like,
yeah, true. But I mean, I'm imagining, like, when it comes to sounding professional, I mean, it is possible to do for probably not that much money. I mean, there is a band that I know that did that at Studio 37 in Rockland.
oh yeah, that specific band that we will be talking about later on the session. Quite, yes. Oh. But so that gets out another Shilling corner. Like, if any of you are listening, please check out Once in a Long Long While by Low Roar, because it's beautiful. Yeah, with the second Shilling corner over, any other major releases or minor releases that you've been listening to this last few weeks?
Well, I started listening to the second Mr. Bungle album, which is apparently weirder than the first one. I still have to finish that, but for now I have Jerusalem stuck in my head, so.
Yeah, I feel that. I was going through Gusto a bunch of times throughout today, and like a bunch of like the little riffs here and there like stuck in my head. But let's see. Any?
I don't know. Like, I don't think there's nothing that I can really think of that I would really have to talk about other than Gusto.
And Retrace.
Oh, I can't remember what happened to that episode.
All right, so last episode my mic was basically dying, and there was so much static coming from my end that it was like, it just sounded like a really gross mix. So I just delisted the episode because I kind of felt ashamed of it. Like, you could barely make out like what anyone was saying over my static. So just gonna have to recover our thoughts on Retrace, see if you can kind of remember.
We're gonna have to retrace our steps.
Let's see, and that's already done there. So let's put on. So yeah, let's just dive into Gusto then.
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. So oh jeez. All right. So for a little bit of context, the album that we're reviewing is the latest from the band Daisybones, who actually started out as a band called Crown the Youth. And Crown the Youth has a project already out. They have a self-titled album. If you go to crowntheyouth.bandcamp.com, then there's a self-titled album for that, as well as it was released in 2015. And a track called Time, and in 2014. In 2014, a little EP, as it appears, called Congratulations. But that is all before. That is all in 2015 and 2014. So that's like some pretty old music from Crown the Youth. But now the members, the band, goes under a different name on a different Bandcamp page called Daisybones. And what they have put out in February of this year, they put out a song called Bala Song. Mm-hmm. But we're not really. I don't know if you have anything to say about Bala Song, but it's not on the album that we're talking about. So
I didn't end up getting to listen to Bala Song. It just kind of completely escaped me.
All right. Well, in April, so this month of this year, we have received Gusto, the latest album from daisybones, formerly Crown the Youth.
And basically the first record we're reviewing that came out within a relevant time frame as our podcast, so that's a little achievement there.
Yeah, that's good.
But initial thoughts about it when you just started listening to it?
You know, what I remember thinking is, I feel like, I don't know why I don't know if I didn't, I don't know why I didn't bring this up during the AAA review, but I started thinking about what albums we're reviewing that might actually have the potential to cross over into the mainstream, like actually beyond the Hot 100.
Yeah.
And of course, out of everything we reviewed, Amanda McCarthy is definitely the most likely, but this one is a close second, I think.
Really, it is, because it is a very... As much as it is indie rock, it is relatively commercial and could easily hop on, like, the local alternative music station.
Which, by the way, is in no way an insult.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Like, I mean, for some of the dumb, overplayed songs on the local alternative music station, there are some very good songs that show up there, too.
And I can imagine daisybones being a band that can get into that.
Yeah, definitely. Their style kind of really suits it. But they also kind of keep a nice production. Well, not nice as in like, oh, it's pristine, but like, it's nice as in how good it sounds. Like, how well they managed to emulate the lo-fi surf rock sound that was prominent many years ago. But they've managed to create an album that sounds like it came out of a studio with like probably very little that they had, and man, like for something that could...
I mean, it sounds like it came out of a studio because it did.
Did they actually have like a full-on studio?
Studio 37 is... It is a recording studio.
Alright, I had no idea like that was an actual place. I thought it was just kind of like a code name for an area or something. I don't know, but...
No, it's a literal studio.
Alright, so a little bit of misinformation fixed, but getting to the meat of it, I guess.
Yeah, this record, if there's anything I can describe Gusto by daisybones, it is a jam.
Yeah, it's a jam, but for me, it kind of slows down that jam and kind of like sits quietly for a little bit, kind of thinking pensively about certain issues.
Well,
like,
I mean, it does definitely slow down, like, from, so like right at Falling and everything after, that's where that's where things start to slow down.
I say actually with Caution it starts to kind of slow down, but Hunter picks it back up, and Falling right after that then slows it back down a bit more. Like Falling, just I'd say the only tracks that are weak, which are funnily enough don't include weak, are Caution, Falling, and Bedhead, mainly because I liked the direction that the album was going with a very amped up jam sound to it. And like those tracks kind of took it in a calmer, more pensive direction than what I was kind of hoping for from like the first half.
I mean, I didn't quite get that from Caution. I still felt like Caution kind of held up with what the album previous was doing.
It did, but it was kind of, it started to drag a little bit, but you know, like, that may just be because it kind of slowed down a bit in tempo compared to the track before it, Weak. I mean, that just may be like my perception of it was a bit off, But I mean, that's at least what I got after listening to it, like, probably 6 times this last week.
Right.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I've had the song Jerusalem stuck in my head. Although I think I'm starting to get a Part of Caution stuck in my head now. That's one of the things this album does. It, like, you'll think of like a little part of the album and you'll have that stuck in your head, and then you'll immediately think of another, and then that'll be stuck in your head. And it's a very catchy album.
It very much is. Like, I honestly want to say that Jerusalem, like, sounds like some of the really good Weezer songs from, like, the early days. Like, it has that level of catchiness, honestly, like Buddy Holly or stuff like that.
And the falsettos that show up on this album are all wonderful.
What defines a falsetto? Because I mean, that I'm still kind of learning these things, honestly.
You know all those moments where he sings really high?
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, those.
All right. Okay. All right. That makes more sense. But yeah, the vocal range for this album is actually pretty fantastic. Like, in some releases that I've listened to, like, the highs were kind of meh, but here is like, wow, this guy is a very well-trained range on him. And not even just this guy, because I'm pretty sure there's like some backup vocalists that have a pretty decent range as well.
Yeah, as far as I know, there are 2 main vocalists. As far as I know, there's Dylan and Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that there are 2 other members. Where Crown the Youth had 3 members, but I guess Daisybones has 4. So I'm not like I'm not entirely knowledgeable on what everyone does. I believe Lucas is the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I search up Daisybones on Facebook, I will receive answers.
Oh yes, you shall, I believe. Let's see. And here we have Jerusalem. Like, I can't get the opening riff out of my head. It sounds like it was just kind of ripped straight from the Blue album. Let's
see, what I have stuck in my head is just like the melody of the verses.
All right, yeah, I can get that. That's
da, 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 da.
Funny enough.
I love that.
Like, you're saying that almost exactly at the same time as it was playing in the background. So I mean, pretty on point there, I guess.
Okay, I found the information, and I was wrong. Lucas is not the drummer. Lucas actually does keys, which there's some synthesizers on this album. I remember specifically in Suburban Boys, the opening.
Yeah, there were some very nice synths throughout there.
Jordan does guitar and vocals. Dylan does vocals and bass. I believe Dylan is the frontmost. I think Dylan is the one doing vocals for most of this.
Yeah. Actually, sorry.
And then AJ is the drummer. Anyway, what were you saying?
I'd like to actually talk about how the instruments sound, because not only does the drum have like a very satisfying punch to it, but like both the guitar and bass have like this satisfying gross crunch that really sinks in well with the style. Like, I'm just hearing it now again, and it's like, this is such a cool sound. It sounds like, at the same time, professional studio, but at the same time, they're playing literally in my backyard with like instruments that have been used for like 5 years and kind of slightly permanently out of tune, or serious wear and tear. And I just kind of admire that sound from like a personal level.
This would definitely be a great band to have at your house.
Definitely would be.
Daisybones is a great band to see live. I I've seen Crown the Youth live twice and then Daisybones once, and all 3 times were pretty great.
That's pretty sweet. Do you know when Daisybones is next playing live, actually?
No.
Alright, well, I'll have to rectify that at some point. If we can... I'd like to be there catching them live at some point, but I mean... eventually.
Yeah, I mean, you can shoot them a message. I remember that you were saying that you wanted to have a show some point.
Yeah, we're looking towards June, but I mean, well, we'll figure that out. I mean,
is there a particular day in June that you're looking at?
I'm looking at basically like the 24th, the Saturday.
All right.
So I'll have to shoot them a message, see if they'd like to play that day. And again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, but you're welcome to come play that if you have the day open.
Oh yeah, I should. I should be just fine.
Yeah. But I guess kind of getting back onto the subject. So, just some thoughts about the tracks I'd like to say. Blondie does some good work into picking up the slower parts of the album that I thought were like dragging a bit. And songs like Let's Get Into Character, it slowed back down, but it was so stylish and solid that it kind of really made up for slowing back down, honestly.
Yeah.
They did pace out the slow tracks of the song in a very good way. Oh, slow tracks of the album in a very good way, so that it's not just a huge period of slowness that can make people kind of doze off and not pay attention anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it were just Caution, Falling, Bedhead, Blondie, Let's Get Into Character, I kind of would have gotten, like, tired at the very end, to be honest, and it's paced out pretty well so that people can still pay attention. I know this is going to come out really bad, but I mean it in a good way.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure that like playing live, they would probably stick to you know, Mantra and
Mantra, Weak, Suburban Boys, Hunter, stuff like that. Like, I have to say, like, for like almost the infectious riffs, Hunter has to have like one of the most infectious ones out there. Remember how exactly it goes, but it's like it'll eventually come up. But so
luckily I have the Bandcamp page open right now, so if I need to remind myself of anything of any of these songs, I can just play them through my headphones and then I will remember.
See, I would do that, but I'm letting the album play in sequence, so I can't remember exactly every detail right now.
Yeah.
But, so I'd say if I had to give it a rating, and I'm dropping my numerical rating system because I've realized that's absolute bullshit at this rate. It's not really bullshit, it's more just contrived dumbness that changes almost every day, like, and has like a crazy dumb amount of context to it. I would probably rate it like, on an arbitrary number scale, 37. 37 is like my favorite prime number too, so I guess that gives it a little bit of a glowing remark, I'd say.
And I would give it a play at my house sometime that won't get the cops called out of 10.
I agree with that.
That happened.
Did that happen with that show with Troll 2?
No, it was the show right after that.
Alright.
Yeah, it was the show after that. Yeah, they were still Crown the Youth at the time. They played at my house. That was the first time I saw them, I believe.
Neat.
Yeah, I believe that was the first time I saw them, and they came to my house, they played their set, and the cops came and shut it all down.
Oh,
Because they were loud. They were also the closer, and it was, like, getting dark, so that's probably why. Yeah. But then I saw them again, and it was great, and, Then I saw them yet again as Daisybones. Actually, that was another show that I played. The Daisybones show. That was the tour kickoff for the Nine Telescopes tour that Justin and Sound Bandits went on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, oh, so the Sound Bandits just went on tour, actually?
Yeah, Justin and the Sound Bandits. Justin's first tour was with the Sound Bandits.
Oh, okay, alright. Like, before was that before the Let It Grow tour?
Yes.
Alright, okay, that makes more sense now. Trying to, like, piece together everything in my head's kind of, like, weird at times. But, yeah, alright, awesome. And with that, would you like to kind of dive into recapping our thoughts on Retrace a bit?
Okay. So, Joe Folan, undoubtedly wonderful.
Yes, exactly. Like, the tracks are very funky, they're slow folky, but they also have a bunch of, like, psychedelic elements to them. There's a lot of elements of, like, just, like, noise rock in it that really shine through when comparing it to, like, some elements of the Sound Bandits.
Wait, Sound Bandits are more noise rock than Joe
Yeah,
is.
but I mean, like, you can when you're comparing Sound Bandits and some of the songs off of, like, Retrace, you can kind of hear, like, yep, these are, like, the noise rock bits that's shining through from his time in the Sound Bandits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would say, like, How to Move Mountains also is, like, probably one of my favorite psychedelic rock tracks of all time. After listening to it, like, it is out there, weird. It is, like, some sort of psychedelic odyssey that anyone could just get high to and just space out for an hour.
Yeah, and not only can he do that very well, but, like, songs like Astray.
Yeah, like, where he emulates, like, a bunch of the relaxed indie rock bands of the 90s, and it just sounds absolutely wonderful.
It does. And if you're a fan of Elvis Costello, then you'll feel right at home with this album.
Indeed. I'd say, on an arbitrary number scale, this album would honestly be, like, 89.7. A radio station. I believe that's actually NPR, maybe. Huh.
And I'll give it a I1.
I1. Oh, yes, an I1. We're just leaving numbers behind at this rate. But yeah, so Daisybones is Gusto and Joe Folan's Retrace. Really, you should listen to the both of them because they are very interesting. They're very fun, like, dives into the minds of creators. Several of them being kind of straightforward and another just being pretty experimental.
Yeah, they're both definitely interesting indie rock acts, except Joe Folan is more in the psychedelic, more of a classic era, whereas the current indie scene is more where you'll find Daisybones.
Yeah. So honestly, this is actually a pretty perfect pairing, where we have one that really harkens back to the older days, where one that, like, kicks in the new days with a lot of amped up fun.
When are we gonna get the Daisybones Joe Folan collaboration?
Hopefully very soon. Maybe even a Daisybones Sound Bandits tour.
Wow, that would be, wow.
Too much indie rock, I would probably overload.
Like, how much indie do you need?
Apparently you need more indie than is necessary.
I guess so.
How much more indie do you need? Cameron Francisco, 2017. But let's see. So, and that's just a little bit. Is there any other notes that really? nothing really else stands out in my notes on Retrace aside from like my favorite tracks being Astray, I Won, Here Again, and How to Move Mountains. So,
Yeah.
and I guess let's call that on the reviews there. This is a very fast moving podcast for today. I kind of wish we had a guest on tonight, but I guess Justin's a little bit busy with his show. He's going on tour right after like finishing tour only a week ago. Like, that man is a champ.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, any music news that you've like run into in this last week that really caught your eye? Well, last few weeks maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Shoot! I don't know why it escaped me until just now, but King Gizzard dropped the last third of their new album right before Coachella. Holy crap! It is so cool. Did you end up listening to that?
No, I've been thinking about like looking into King Gizzard, like really.
Yeah. But Murder of the Universe, like those 6 tracks they're so cool and so weird. Like it carries the same trademark weirdness that you expect with King Gizzard. There's a song about a comet filled with, a coffin filled with vomit, and then the concept of that last third of the album is a sentient being like taking control of all matter in the universe and turning it all into vomit. It's that same eccentric weirdness that you'd expect out of Australians that is kind of part of the appeal of King Gizzard. Their nonsensical weirdness and whatnot.
Yeah, like I guess so.
I mean, I'd say you really should listen to it. I mean, like, just to kind of get an idea of what they're going to be doing for their second of 5 albums coming out in the next year.
Well, all right.
Yeah, like, I don't even... When is the King Gizzard album coming out? Let's see. Do they have a date on their Bandcamp for Murder of the Universe? Ooh, excuse me. Let's see. Oh, so, it's going to be out in June the 23rd. So basically the day before... The day that I aim to have my show will be like the day after new King Gizzard drops. And if you're a big King Gizzard fan, there is a Vomit Splatter vinyl available for pre-order for $23 USD, which is a pretty good deal considering like that's like a specialty color, honestly. Like vinyl pressings are expensive.
Right.
Yeah, and like that's a pretty good price for it. But let's see. So anything, let's see. There's got to be some news that came out like the last 2 weeks that... Oh, right. Why did it escape me? Humans came out Friday. Humans. And that was underwhelming, honestly. Like the new Gorillaz album, I expected it to be pretty great, and I should have expected less because it was alright. Like, my only big issue with it was the Danny Brown feature was very underused. Like, he was there for like a quick, like, 2 stanzas of like contribution, and that was it. Like, even though he showed up as like the track's primary feature in the title, which kind of disappointed me a bit.
Yeah.
And the one song led by Damon Albarn, 2D, Battered in Blue, I think it was called. I was expecting like maybe something along the level of Feel Good Inc. and Melancholy Hill, 2 previous songs that were led by the character 2D. But it was just kind of laid back and restrained. Like, he was trying to give more attention to the feature tracks instead of his own tracks, which could always be something. I feel like with the way Humans was put together, he didn't want to be as much of a performer as a producer for a bunch of big odd projects that he had a lot of interest in, and wanted to compile them together into one big album to kind of act as like, these are artists I like, check them out. And
yeah, I guess so.
And to some extent, that attitude really fit well, because it had me listening to Prima Donna by Vince Staples, a little bit at least. I mean, I really want to listen to Popcan now, because Saturn Bars was probably one of the best songs on there. I think I honestly, like, Hallelujah Money really warmed me up to Benjamin Clementine a little bit more. I mean, separating it a bit from, like, the immediacy of the Donald Trump election, which honestly I think it was an okay time to drop that song, but it kind of clouded it in a very political way. But once it was distanced from the event itself, it was a song I could find myself to, like, yeah, this is a good song. I'm fine with it. I'd say, like, throughout the entire album, a lot of the instrumentals are very well put together, but the problem just lies in, like, the themes weren't as interesting. It didn't, like, flow as well as, say, Plastic Beach or Demon Days. It was a concept album that was stretched a bit too far. I'd say, like, the bonus tracks are, like, a nice treat, but I feel like there could have been a lot more care and effort put into this. All in all, though, I'd say giving it a rating on, like, a non-arbitrary number scale would be like a 7 out of 10. Like, you will still have fun with this, but don't expect anything like Demon Days or Plastic Beach. It's gonna be just an alright album, and with, like, a bunch of great bangers on it. So that's, I guess, my thoughts on it. It's just, like, Submission being, like, Submission was the only one that really disappointed me, with the one that featured Danny Brown, but only for, like, a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Which actually, it really annoys me that he only got featured for that little amount of time, because, like, Vince Staples and Popcan got, like, almost entire songs to themselves, and Danny Brown, with, like, Atrocity Exhibition being such a good album and putting him on, like, the roadmap of a bunch of big music fans everywhere, like, you'd expect him to get, like, the same treatment. Like, he had almost an entire song to himself with the Gorillaz.
I mean, I would. Yes, and he's kind of been on the map for like before Atrocity Exhibition as well, like with Triple X. But I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll give it that, but I mean, like, as far as, like, my personal roadmap goes, like, I never even knew he existed until, like, Atrocity Exhibition came out. Which actually, funny enough, Danny Brown was only on the album because Damon Albarn wanted to impress his teenage daughter who was into him.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there was another artist that was included because he wanted to impress his teenage daughter. But it's kind of funny to see, like, a dad kind of using his world-class music project to kind of show his daughter that he's still cool.
Such a dad thing to do.
It really is. And I think we gotta take notes. We as, like, I'm a dad meme, so I would take notes. I think maybe Joe Folan should take notes. I don't think anyone else is in on the dad meme. Anyone else is, like, really big into the dad meme.
Listen, Joe Folan doesn't need to take notes about anything.
True, yeah.
Joe Folan will not have to, like, try to impress his daughter to seem cool. Like,
true.
Joe Folan just needs to be Joe Folan.
Yes, Joe Folan just needs to be Joe Folan, and I greatly apologize for any insult to your character. But, so, I guess that just wraps up my thoughts on Humans. Did you end up even listening to it, or were you like not interested?
I was barely capable.
Oh right, yeah, because this last week you just like couldn't anything. But let's see. I'm just gonna take a dive into Pitchfork and see like if there's anything kind of interesting coming out. Oh, how about, did you see any of the news about that Fire Festival?
No.
There's Ja Rule, rapper, put out this festival for like people on Instagram who were like famous and stuff. And he was promising all of these incredible things like live bands, beautiful buffets, world-class living space, and he met on none of those promises whatsoever. Like, Ja Rule basically scammed them out of their money, feeding them cheese sandwiches and salads, making them sleep in refugee tents, and kind of trapping them on an island in the Bahamas. And he's basically been giving a statement on it, saying, oh yeah, all the guests are safe. But if you kind of look at, like, a lot of the information coming out of that, you would think, yeah, they are not safe. They need some help, and I'm pretty sure Ja Rule isn't gonna have much of a career after this big old scandal here.
Did he just like kidnap a bunch of people and put them on an island as a bully? Fucking like the poster child for the Thugs Need Loves 2 songs back in the 2000s did this. Oh my god.
It honestly is like, yeah, like he basically did that, and that is just nuts.
I can't believe this. Like,
Ja Rule, I don't know what he's gonna do after this, because he's kind of screwed himself here.
Well, like, recently he hasn't really been doing much with his career anyway, because his big boom was in the 2000s, like I said, with the Thugs Need Love 2 songs.
True.
So now I guess he's kidnapping people. This is his career.
Oh, shoot. Is there... I feel like there was other news that came out too recently. It's like escaping my head entirely.
Listen, even if there is other news, it's not beating this.
Yeah, really. I guess it won't. Like, Ja Rule, good
you
luck.
You can't beat that story.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's about it. There's no other news that really tops that news story. And, unless you want to kind of talk about when the hell City of Ghosts is finally going to come out.
Alright, so, here's what was happening. Main plan was April 15th, 2017. What ended up happening was, I ended up going away for a bit.
Yeah.
For important reasons, at least to me.
Yes, of course, very important.
And then when I came back, when I came back for an entire week, like, I was not in, like, I was not in a good state at all.
Oh yeah, you did look very, very tired when you're back at that show. Like, you looked like you were just kind of running on empty there.
Well, it wasn't all. I wasn't all that tired.
All right.
I was just in a horrible state.
Well, I mean,
and I'd been like that for like a lot of the week, but now I'm starting to like I'm getting there. I'm starting to everything is good now. So what I plan to do is there's one more feature that needs to get out of the way for the album, and then actually having that week will actually help me. There's one song that I've had a lot of trouble actually finishing, but now that week happened, it's going to be pretty easy to do, so I'll be able to get that done and everything done. So now I'll actually be able to finish it. Now I'm just shooting for like the 15th of May, mainly because Bandcamp told me that what I did was on the pre-order for City of Ghosts, originally there were 2 songs that were available, to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a new song that's available to listen to, Xerox. So.
Yeah, I actually ended up listening to that. I think, isn't that the song that you kind of used in like trailers for City of Ghosts?
Yeah, for the for the promotional video, I used the instrumental for Xerox.
Yeah.
So that one's available to listen to now. I didn't want to like leave the pre-order the way it was. I did want to add something, so I decided to add that song. And Bandcamp told me, hey, you gotta change the release date if you want to do that. So I moved it up to 15th of May,
Mm-hmm.
and if I don't get it done by then I'm an idiot.
Don't worry about it, my friend. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot for it, but I'm just like, I'm a little bit impatient. I'm sorry. I was kind of excited to listen to it, but I will be.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. I'll be patiently awaiting it, and I'll be glad to hear whatever comes out of your crazy little head, man.
All right.
But actually, one news story that was kind of interesting. Metallica replaces a tribute band's gear after it was stolen from them.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, some bands will just kind of be like, oh, wow, that really sucks. But, I mean, that's really cool to see, like, Metallica throwing out probably, like, several $1,000s to, like, help a band like that. I mean, like, it's kind of cool because, like, some Metallica has kind of had, like, I guess kind of a hit and miss reputation, mainly due to, like, the release of Hardwired kind of being a little bit split in the fan base. Some people are like, oh, we didn't want Death Magnetic 2. Some people are like, oh, we want Death Magnetic 2. I
guess like whatever you think about the music, they're not bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from what I've heard, though, Lars, the drummer, is kind of a dick, but I mean...
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, what can you do?
Not all of them are bad guys.
Yeah, not all of them. Just, there's a bad egg with every good bunch. But, so actually, do you know if there's any upcoming releases in the local scene that you can think of?
Not that I've really heard specifically. I know that, a lot of the local artists, I know, there are artists who, of course, are planning on making another album. Like of course, like Justin, like the T-Jap is, of course, like planning on making another album, but like things like that isn't necessarily a surprise.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Like of course they're not gonna like just end their career after the Fake Room.
Yeah.
So, but we don't really know all that many details about what's going on there. So there isn't really much to go on other than they're of course gonna make another album.
Yeah, of course. And so we've got Justin's eventually coming out. Maybe I'd say like September, ballparking it. Like, just kind of ballparking on like what he's got going on and like how much time he could devote and how much time it would take to get that all ready. They got Cam's coming out maybe the 15th of this month if he can finish it on time. But don't pressure him. Let's see. I think are the Caps still in line for getting that EP done? Or
as far as I know, yeah.
All right. So we have that to look forward to. I think from what I heard from Jake Kearney that Spidera is getting something in the works, which would be nice because I mean they've been talking about stuff in the works since 2014, I think. But it'll be cool to finally see some releases from those guys, get some CDs from them.
In 2014, was there a show that Spidera played at your house, like in August?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because that would be the show that I broke my hand at.
Oh, crap. But, was it still a good show at least?
Yeah.
Are you fiddling with your mic at all, buddy?
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright.
Like, it's just because I have the tendency to, like, bounce my legs and I guess rubbing up against the wire. Anyway, I stopped doing that. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, what happened was I was just in the push pit for Spidera, and I got knocked over, and my hand, like, just, like, slammed into the ground.
Oh.
And I guess a bone snapped in my hand, and then immediately the next day I left for vacation for 2 weeks. And then, like, while I was there, like, we just went to, like, this clinic that was in a mall, and they were just like, yeah, he broke his hand.
That's a little sketchy going into a clinic in a mall, but I mean, yeah, I guess at least you got it taken care of.
But that was like a week after I broke my hand. Like, I just didn't care for, like, a while.
Oh, that's a little irresponsible, but your hand's, like, at least in working condition, right?
Yeah, my hand works fine. It's just that, like, if I close my hand into a fist, then my middle knuckle looks like it's popping out more because it was my ring finger. It was like,
oh, your ring finger metacarpal?
Yeah, it was.
I actually busted that back in February. Like, I fell going up the stairs, slamming in between my ring finger and my pinky finger. Oh, it was in between my middle and my ring finger into a metal banister. And
right.
I snapped that metacarpal. Now you got like a big bump on your hand right above your ring finger knuckle.
Well, my middle finger looks like it pops out more because, well, my ring finger's knuckle doesn't really go out as far. I don't know, but yeah, that's all that happened.
Yeah.
I'm on good. It's been years.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. I mean, like, I think we've, like, strayed very far from the topic at hand. But so new releases, none so far. Any idea what we want to, like, review for the next episode?
Well, I'm thinking everything that we've reviewed has been. We've reviewed a lot of the really clean sounding things.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
There've only been, like, elements of lo-fi in what we've reviewed. So I think the kind of the king of lo-fi when it comes to the local music scene here. He actually has a band that's going to be coming with a new album that I just remembered. The band is called Boxer's Jaw, and they're going to be coming. They're going to be coming out with a new album, full band. Now that it's him and 2 other members in the band. So when that comes out, that'll be interesting. But for now, it's not out. So I think we should talk about the latest from Brian Huntress.
Oh, right. It's just Brian Huntress Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess when it comes to the latest from Brian Huntress, we have 2 choices. We can either go with his latest full-length album, which is Expect a Miracle,
all right,
or his latest of his EPs, which he makes a lot of he's made a lot of EPs, and his latest one is called Pall Mall Reds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure which one of those you want to talk about, but
I'd say let's put on Expect a Miracle, get like a full release out of the way.
All right.
Yeah. Because this is pretty neat. Like, just kind of looking at it a little bit. Like, he's really put his, like, art out there. Frick. So
get ready to cry when you listen to Resurrection.
I mean, I listened to Radiohead. I think I can pretty much handle it. I'm joking, of course.
I cried while listening to Resurrection.
Alright, well, you're a little bitch, so,
Listen. You'll understand when you listen to Resurrection.
I mean, I probably will understand when I listen to Resurrection. And, so yeah, look forward to Expect a Miracle by Brian Huntress next week. Same time, same place at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Is it going to be the 7th? It's going to be Sunday the 7th. Yeah. And so I will actually be going to the Sunday Boston Calling event where Tool will be playing. I think Tool's one of the only major events, so I'll be able to give you, I guess, a rundown of how that went.
Tool being one of the only major events at Boston Calling.
I mean,
Boston Calling is pretty ridiculous.
I mean, for that specific day, the only thing that really caught my eye was Tool that I can remember. I think like Weezer might be playing the same day too. I wish I could have.
I need to go on. I need to go onto the Boston Calling website. I need to look into this.
Yeah, I know there's like Sigur Rós and I think maybe Bon Iver's on the bill too.
Bon Iver is all right. So for Sunday, Tool, Major Lazer. So Weezer and Tool are on Sunday. So is Run the Jewels and Cage the Elephant and
Run the Jewels. I missed that. My bad.
Converge, Mitski, the Hotelier, as well as some other bands like Flatbush Zombies, Wolf Parade, Piebald,
Mondo Cosmo.
Rabbit. Yeah, Hiss Golden Messenger, Pup. One person that I want to see is playing on Saturday, and that's Brandi Carlile.
You know, I wish I could have gone Saturday too, because I would love to see the XX live and catch Hannibal Buress doing his stand up, because Hannibal Buress is freaking hilarious. If you haven't seen like the Eric Andre show.
Well, the Eric Andre show.
It's so great. Who killed Hannibal?
Who killed? Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can catch Saturday, because Brandi Carlile, Danny Brown, we got, I've been thinking that I've been kind of on the fence about the 1975. The main thing that makes me want to get into the 1975 is the caps.
Really?
Listen, they covered Chocolate and it was good.
All right.
Nathaniel Radcliffe and the Night Sweats I've heard is really good, as well as Tegan and Sarah, Mumford and Sons. They exist. I can get that. I can get down with that. That's fine.
I mean, I guess I kind of have like an unconditional grudge against them for just kind of being so popular, like I don't know, popular like in a very mainstream way. But I mean, that's fine. Let them live.
No, I have nothing against them being popular.
Yeah, it's just their music's very bland to me, and like I just dislike how present it is. But that's just my opinion. Like, they can exist as a band. That's perfectly fine. One of the more interesting days, though, that looks cool is like Chance the Rapper, Bon Iver, Sigur Rós, and like Mac DeMarco, Car Seat Headrest, all on like Friday. That's probably like a day that's sold out almost.
Yeah, probably. Solange.
If I had the money, I would love to go Saturday, because I mean, like, that would be pretty cool, seeing the XX, Danny Brown, and just catching Hannibal Buress' stand-up. But I mean, since Sunday is kind of like a free ticket, like, I'm kind of locked to Sunday, because I mean, my finances look like a nightmare right now. But if you do end up going, we should talk about that on... Do you have Mondays open to do podcast?
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I think maybe that Monday we should just do kind of a summary of our days at Boston Calling and kind of do a review that day too.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing else I have to say is look out for the new Slowdive record at the end of the week, because I'm just hoping that it's not going to be as much of a disappointment as the Gorillaz album, but I've at least taken myself back from the place where I expect it's going to be something perfect. Like when I said a few weeks ago that the new Slowdive record is probably going to be something people are fine waiting 22 years for, maybe not. Like, honestly, listening back to it, it's, especially with like Anthony Fantano's opinion, it doesn't sound exactly like the way they used to sound. It wasn't as dreamy sounding. So some people may have like an issue with like it not being up to the exact standard they're expecting from Slowdive. It's still probably going to be a very good record with like the 2 singles that came out, but we don't know if it's going to be the absolute perfection that I claimed it would be, and please don't crucify me if it's not perfection. But so yeah, I believe that's it. Do you have anything you want to show personally before we close up the show for the day?
No.
All right. Well, I'm just going to take a moment to suggest to any of those who may be listening, there is a neat site called Massdrop where I got my Hi-Fi-Man HE3500, oh, not 3500, HE350s for $100. These are high fidelity, like, audiophile headphones for $100 that normally go for like $300. These are like how I evaluate albums when I have the time at home to just sit down and relax. And if you don't have a pair of high fidelity headphones and really are looking into getting a pair, go into the description box doobly-doo thing, look for the Shilling section, and use my Massdrop recommendation link, and for $100 you can join in on the drop for a new pair of Hi-Fi-Mans or even little Hi-Fi-Man earbuds like the RE00s, which are for like I got for $30, but they're like valued at $80. Like, these are high fidelity products. They even offer like Sennheiser products. They offer AKG, I think it was one of the other major brands. But they have stuff from like just headphones to like studio equipment too. Like, they have professional mics on sale there. They have all different kinds of techs, like special mechanical keyboards. They even have hobby stuff like trading cards. Like, you could get like fat packs and Magic the Gathering, like constructed decks for like probably like a good chunk off the price, like right as they're launching. So use that little link in the description, and if 5 people use it, I get a free gift bag from Massdrop. So that's going to be my little bit. If you want to find us on the Twitters, Book of Faces, and Bandcamps, our links are in the description as well. And I think that concludes the episode for today.
That it does.
So, my name is Ian. I'm a nerd.
I'm Cameron. I'm a musician.
And thank you, everybody. Have yourselves a good night.